Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch another beautiful day in the Ozarks. Weather's supposed to warm up, I think, just a little bit. Not hot, but a little bit warmer. But it is a beautiful morning so far. The news out of the Israel, Iran, whatever that's going on, is that nothing yet has really happened. But it does appear that Israel is bracing itself for some level of attack, based on what I can tell through reading the news. Israel is expecting Iran to attack it with some of its long-range missiles. Who knows? There's so much going back and forth. Iran has made multiple threats, but Iran has made multiple threats throughout the years also. There's a lot of talk of, is this going to be a lot of hype and not a lot of follow through? Exactly what is going to happen, who knows? But according to the news last night, a lot of Israelis in certain areas that they believed would get struck with missiles went and sought shelter. This morning, the news is saying that the United States, with all of its strength, that the United States now has contacted Iran and asked and really implored them to please not to strike U.S. targets due to this, U.S. targets in Iraq and Syria. So, who knows? It does look like on the surface that there's going to be some kind of escalation between Iran and Israel. I know that there's been some serious threats between the two for a long, long time. And maybe now it's going to finally get some follow through. Not that that's a good thing, but or it could just be more hype. It's tough. It's tough to tell with these kind of things. But we just have to continue to prepare and get ourselves ready, because we just don't know. If you're wanting to get some good quality, non-GMO, bioengineered, non-preservative, MSG, all that kind of garbage, freeze-dried emergency food, because it's hard to find that kind of stuff. You can get cheap emergency food, but to find stuff that's not all contaminated and stuff, it's difficult. There's a link in the description below to a company that I've started working with, and you can find some good quality stuff there if that's what you're in the market for. Where I really wanted to take this video, though, is more on the mental and the spiritual preparedness, that I talk about. I talk about the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. It's really a very holistic approach to preparedness. And I feel I haven't spoken about kind of the mental, spiritual side enough in a while. So this is that video. With what we are faced with, again, looking at the holistic approach, the totality of everything going on. It's not just the wars and the economy and the potential for pandemics. It's all the natural occurring things, the unnatural occurring things in nature that's probably being done by CERN and all of this other things that the government is doing. And then there's just this all-out war on family, traditions, morality, God, the Bible, anything like that. We've watched over the last few years be, just a complete frontal assault. And I have repeatedly said to you that we are involved in a major spiritual war, and that we have to be prepared on the spiritual side of it. Along with that is that mental, that psychological side. We have to brace ourselves for the things that we are going to face. There's going to be things that we see already. We've already, many of you have experienced things over the last few years that it's really shaken you to your core. It may have even kind of knocked you back a few steps because you were so unprepared for it. You couldn't imagine these things happen, and yet they did. That is going to continue, and most likely continue to get worse. And so we have to be prepared for that. We've watched over the last few years, and we're going to continue to watch more families being ripped apart for various reasons, more so than we've seen in the past. I mean, yes, that's been a trend in America for a long time, but I think just because of the stress, on everybody, financial stress, the social stress of picking which side that you're going to support, the spiritual toll on people of seeing all of this happen, of trying to figure out where their place is, the confusion, the lack of a firm foundation and biblical truths. That's going to affect families such greatly, I believe, all of that. And we have to be prepared for that. We have to be prepared as individuals for attacks, not just physical attacks. You know, most prepper channels talk a lot about the physical attacks of being armed and capable and competent in use of a firearm or other tools for self-defense. But there's also other attacks. There's verbal attacks that we're going to have to endure. There's psychological attacks. There's psychological attacks from the government. I mean, we've probably all seen videos recently of FBI agents randomly showing up at people's houses asking about their social media posts. There's been attacks from just family and friends, people that we thought we knew and could trust. They turn on people, and they turn them in many times. This is also, I believe, fulfilling biblical, prophecies. This kind of stuff is going to get hard on a lot of people. And you can sit there and you can convince yourself and say it's not going to bother you, it's not going to affect you. But I would be cautious to be that brazen about it, because I believe it's going to affect everyone. And while it is certainly a necessity for you to be stocking up, for you to be growing food, for you to be capable of surviving on your own and just having that raw, rugged grit that it takes to kind of, make it through tough times, that's extremely important. But it's also so important to be able to get through the mental anguish that we're going to face, the stress, the burden on us, to be able to see loved ones fall away, loved ones turn against us, to possibly see poverty and see financial struggles at a level in this country that we've never seen. The things that's been seen in history, or even in newsreels and stuff in Venezuela and other countries where poverty rates skyrocket, people are starving, losing weight, children hungry, things like that. It's going to be tough. Seeing that possibly in your own family, seeing your own family just hurt because of the lack of resources that you need to live the life you want, the cutting off from society. There's been so much talk over the last 2 or 3 years of the mental health really epidemic that has happened in America, and a lot of it is connected to people isolating themselves through the pandemic. You may have to isolate yourself and your family because of the danger that there is out there that's coming at us, the illegals coming across the border or whatever other reason. And so that's going to put a mental, toll on you. It's going to stress your family. It's going to hurt your children, psychologically, of being cut off from the outside world. These kind of things are a reality. And I know it's not the glamorous part of preparedness. It's not the part that entices us to continue to watch and to engage and to really think about that. The cool gear, the cool skills, things like that's what, usually gets people excited. But I'm telling you, this is a tough one. And this is one that we have to really face. The combination of the psychological strain and the spiritual attacks, I think, is going to be great. Yeshua said that things will be so deceiving that, if possible, even the very elect would be deceived. Which means that no matter how strong you think you are mentally or spiritually, the stuff that we're going to face, it may be difficult for you to make it through it. It may be difficult for you to overcome it and to push past it. It may be difficult for you to not be caught up in it. And I want to caution anyone that says that you're going to be okay. Don't allow, arrogance. And I'm not calling you arrogant, but don't allow that to kind of take over. No matter how tough we think we are, There's only so much that we can endure mentally and spiritually before we break, if we're not really ready and strong for that. And so be cautious and be prayerfully, preparing for this, and trying to mentally get yourself ready for that. The amount of attacks that will come at you, the very real lies that end up could becoming physical attacks are very real. All of it. It's going to get to that point. It already has. Maybe not at extreme levels, but there's certainly many people in this country over the last few years that have lost a lot, that have lost relationships and families, that have been pushed to the edge because of all of the stuff that's going on. I mean, there's been people that's been wrongfully put into prison for years for their beliefs. This is the country that we live in, and we will most likely see this get worse and worse. And so if nothing else, just think about it, pray about it, and try to figure out a way that you can kind of gear yourself up for it, because I think there are very challenging times ahead. The wars, they're getting bigger and closer. The economy's getting worse and worse. Food supplies worse, the weather, climate worse, the illegals coming across the border very much worse. All of this combined with the spiritual and the mental, it's going to get worse. It's going to be a struggle, and we have to prepare for that. There's just no other way around it. You either prepare, or you're going to fall flat on your face, and probably end up in some FEMA camp or even worse. It's time to get your houses in order, folks. It's time to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.